Men in their 20s and 30s now have the hormone levels of what used to be normal for men in their 70s and 80s. I want to talk about 3 important principles that I always think about in my cultivation practice that you want to emphasize equally. The first one is to clear. Second one is to build and circulate. And there's many layers to what this corresponds to. I'll do a really ugly drawing of a torso here. Oh God, it's okay. One of my more disfigured heads, but this is a torso, right? Okay, we have a consensus. Our bodies they're physical, they're dense, but everything's actually 99.9% empty space. And I like to think about the internet, how everything that's on the cloud, there's all this massive amount of information that is made of the internet. It's literally all in the room that we're in right now, through the Wi-Fi, through the signal. And we get on a computer, it takes those invisible signals that they're passing through our bodies, and it turns it into videos, turns it into pictures, turns it into audio. And so basically the same thing with our body. We're swimming in this sea of energy, the sea of information. And our senses take it in, and we turn it into the sounds we hear, the colors that we see, this apparent environment. But it's all an illusion. It's all this energy field that our body is processing and kind of trying to make sense of. The body has all these energetic meridians, these pathways that the energy, the life force flows through. When we are young, children, we're wide open. Our rivers are flowing freely, there's no debris, so our life force is flowing freely. That's why we feel so vital, we feel so alive and happy. But what happens is we start to get all of this debris. This just represents all of these tensions, these stresses, these traumas that are in our body. It often begins, usually by the age of 9, we get out of that, like I was talking earlier about how children exist very strongly in a theta brain state. And often it's around age 9 that we start to develop a lot more of a stress response to where we get stuck in this monkey mind. Worry, fear, we start to function in survival mode. So we're more in the beta, super alert, super like, am I safe, what's gonna happen, sort of brain state. And so we hold these patterns, the fears, the traumas, the things that happen to us, as information within the body. It's like the body can't process it in the moment. It can't fully integrate it, so it traps it. You use your own energy to trap that pattern that you were not able to fully process. It's like, okay, I'm gonna stick this in the closet and deal with it later. But before long, your whole closet gets full of debris, so your energy starts to hit these blockages, so it's like, okay, it's a little constricted, we're gonna make our way around this, and our energy becomes very constricted. And what happens is when, we wanna cultivate our sexual energy, this represents your sexual energy. We'll keep it simple. We don't need to I think we know what else is down there, but we wanna build our sexual energy, we wanna move it through our body, we wanna have better orgasms, more pleasure, and just that vitality. But we're hitting all these walls, this tension, this blockage, so the energy tries to move and it's hitting a wall. And another thing that can happen is if you actually do get the energy moving, it's common to go straight to some of these advanced sexual energy circulation practices, but what can happen is that your sexual energy hits these unconscious patterns that are held within your body, and it can actually amplify them. Because sexual energy is, it's an amplifier. It's also like a psychic superglue. It bonds you to things. It bonds you to actions, to people, to emotions, habits, whatever. And so what we do not want to do is to start bonding our sexual energy with a lot of these unconscious patterns in our body. We want to start with some clearing work. We did a lot of work this morning. We did the 6 healing sounds, which is a practice that helps to take some of these patterns and purge them from the body. So we start to clear some space. We don't have to clear everything. Like, you're probably not going to undo all of your fears and traumas and blah, blah, blah in a few sessions, or maybe not even in this lifetime. But we can at least make some space. We can create at least, degrees of clearing. It's like, okay, we start to create some new pathways that our life force can freely flow through. Once we do that, then we can start to more freely focus on building our energy. And that can mean simply your sexual energy. For men, this means not ejaculating too frequently so that your vitality can build up enough so you have something to work with, because one of the biggest depletions for men is excessive ejaculation. You get a little bit of a buildup and then it's just pouring out of you. All of your vitality, your kidney system here. I was talking about how this is the water element. All of this is just leaving your body. This is kind of the typical pattern for men. It just leaves the body. And for women, it can be excessive menstruation. I'll talk more about this. So this is your vitality leaving your body. So we want to change this dynamic. We want to stop the leak so that we can rebuild our vitality, rebuild it, build it. Part of this is also building the Dantian. We won't be able to get too deep into Dantian work because it's a very comprehensive subject. I'll tell you more about what you can do if you're interested in that. But part of this is building the Dantian because the Dantian is this energy center within lower navel. It's like the battery and the engine for your energy body. I'll talk about this more when I talk about Qigong specifically. So we're creating this reservoir of energy. This corresponds to like our kidney energy, our Dantian, our sexual energy. So I know this is really ugly and terrible, but you get the idea. We're building so that we actually have something here, something to work with. Talking about the microcosmic orbit, it's a main energy meridian in the body. One of the main questions I get from people, and I had this as well when I was first working with this, is like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm imagining there's energy flowing through my microcosmic orbit, but I'm not really feeling anything. Like, how do I know anything's actually happening? It's like, I just have this faith that it's happening, but chi is very tangible. Who felt some chi today? Like, raise your hand. Everyone. Okay, cool. So I don't need to convince you guys about this, but we all have chi, we all have life force. If it wasn't flowing through your body right now, you wouldn't be alive. But the degree of chi that you have is the factor here, because most people just don't have a lot. They have just a certain amount, and it's kind of thin. If we take the metaphor of water, it's more like a mist. It's like, this kind of mist, it's moving its way through the channel system. But what we want to do is take that mist and condense it, compress it to form more of a liquid, a thick liquid substance. So now we're getting into circulate. Once you drive that through your channel system, it's much more tangible. It's thick. It actually can start to affect your physical tissues. When you do a lot of Dantian work, you'll start to experience this phenomena where it actually kind of makes you involuntarily move. Like, you'll get these shakes and you feel the sensation of chi in your body. This is what opens up the tangible sensation of the microcosmic orbit, which we are going to be working through with dragon breathing, because now we have this thick built supply of energy. Jing. Jing is physical essence. And we've really got some fuel to move through our body. Now our practice is powerful. And speaking specifically about sexual energy, we want to bring this all the way around. We don't want to stop there. Microcosmic orbit. Up the back, down the front. That's what the blue line represents. When it comes to our sexual energy, we want to build it up. We want to nourish it, build it. We don't want it to just stay in the genitals. We don't want it to just stay in the sexual region. The issue for men is we get stagnant. Like talking about semen retention, a lot of men get extremely obsessive. They read the book, they watch a YouTube video, and it's like, if I just don't ejaculate, that will solve everything. And that's just one piece of the puzzle, stopping the leak. That's what semen retention is, in my opinion. It's stopping the leak. My perspective on this is not that you can never ejaculate. It's just, if we consider it like it's supposed to be a bucket or container, and you're born with this bucket full of water, okay? It's kind of like money in a bank account. And every time you ejaculate, it's like a few drops leak from that bucket. Well, if you're doing that every day, this starts to add up. You've emptied your bucket out. Like, from the overstimulation of porn, and as well as just daily stress, poor diet, etc., a lot of men drain their bucket in their 20s nowadays. Like, men in their 20s and 30s now have the hormone levels of what used to be normal for men in their 70s and 80s. So like this is like where we're going as a species, is significant depletion. Hormone levels are low like never before, and it's getting worse and worse. You want to fill back up your bucket. There's many ways to do this, but for men, the important thing is that, again, stop leaking all your energy. And when it comes to retention, my perspective and experience with this is that this isn't exactly right, but we could consider, like, let's say you go a week without ejaculating and it puts 7 drops in your bucket, fills it a little bit more. And then, you ejaculate after a week. It removes 3 drops from your bucket, but you're at a net gain of 5 drops. So over time, it's going to build overall. But if you're ejaculating every day, 7 drops in, 7 drops out, you're not refilling, or it's even spending more than you're gaining. So that is my perspective on semen retention, is that it's not that you can never ejaculate. You just have to figure out, like, how many drops is it costing you to ejaculate versus how many you're going back in. And as long as it's not excessive, it's going to be a net gain. And there's different theories on, like, how long. For, like, a lot of the Taoist texts, Some common numbers are going to be, you could ejaculate every 4 days when you're in your 20s, every 8 days when you're in your 30s, like 14 days in your 40s, and so on. That can be like a guideline, and that just means that you should go at least that many days without ejaculating so that you're not in this net loss.
Does that bucket build back up over time, like as you practice semen?
Yes, that's where I was going with this, is that you're putting in these drops and like you're not losing as many, so it's gonna build back up, and it can be kind of a slow process. For me, I felt when I started semen retention, I was 24 years old or so, and it took about, I would say, 3 or 4 years until I felt like, basically where I didn't feel like I was completely wiped out after I'd had a release. And there's a lot of other things you can do. Herbs, specifically like Chinese herb formulas that build your yin kidney energy, proper diet, exercise, stress reduction. Qigong, also building qi is gonna help you refill this bucket faster. So yeah, your bucket over time can fill back up as you're managing your lifestyle correctly. It's not a fast process, because you spent years depleting it. It's gonna take some time to build it back up. It's one of our goals, is to rebuild this bucket, okay, and that's our vitality. We don't want to just keep this energy stagnant in the genitals. I was talking about men being over-obsessive about it, because what happens is, when it remains down here, it's going to strengthen, we could say like the lower energy centers, the experience of lust, of material desire, egotism, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but it can get out of balance to where you just kind of get stuck chasing after sex and chasing after status and just getting really rigid with it. And a lot of men get so obsessive that they can't even enjoy sex anymore. It's like, oh, well, if I ejaculate, it's gonna kill me, so I can never do that again. And so they can't actually like enjoy sex, because like, well, what if I ejaculate? So we're gonna talk about that dynamic of how to retain your semen and still enjoy sex. The circulation brings the energy. It's not the actual sperm. There's often this misunderstanding that you're actually moving, like sometimes the term ejaculation is used, that like you're actually like bringing your semen and ejaculating up your spine, which there's no physiological pathway for that to happen. But what's happening is, coming back to this like water metaphor, we could say that this is like water, your semen, your sperm, just jing. And what you're doing is, it's almost like taking the steam from that water. You're taking this energetic substrate. So when we're gonna do orgasmic breathing practice, and this also happens in dragon breathing, you're taking this steam, you're taking the essence of the sexual, same thing for women as well. You're taking the essence out of the ovaries, for men, out of the testicles, and you're circulating it through your system. And this jing re-nourishes the rest of the body, nourishes the brain. In some of the oldest texts about the microcosmic orbit practice, it was potentially developed as a method for rejuvenating the brain. They talk about returning the jing to the brain. One thing that happens is when you ejaculate too much, the body's losing all these vital resources, vital nutrients. If you're expending more than the body can replenish through food, exercise, etc., it starts to pull from the reserves it has in the organs, the brain, the spinal fluid, and so it depletes you. The circulation part is we're reinvigorating the rest of the body with this rejuvenative sexual energy. So in my opinion and perspective, it's almost like stem cells, in that this energy, as it comes into the body, it becomes whatever the body needs. It can be very healing, very energizing, enhancing your creativity. So as we're circulating, it's rewiring your genitals to your heart center. That's one aspect of the practice. So, because a lot of people are stuck in either overly lovey-dovey, emotional, touchy-feely, or just, I'm just horny, I just want to have sex with something and then forget about it. And so there's often this disconnect between the heart center and the sexual center. When you fuse the qualities of love and lust together, it's this like water fire alchemy. It's very beautiful. And I think that that's how we were meant to experience sexuality, was this deeply embodied, healing, even multi-dimensional process. And that connection gets severed. I think porn is a big piece of that, and how we are conditioned into sexuality. So now we're reintegrating everything. Our sexual energy can turn from being this heavy, lustful, animalistic energy into expansive. You bring it to the heart center. It amplifies your love, your connection with the universe, your creativity. You bring it into the brain. It rejuvenates the pineal gland, which is the master gland for your hormonal production, and also creates this kind of cosmic connection. The opening of the crown, the third eye, the pineal gland. The whole system functions better, because now, instead of wasting it outwards, you're building it, you're circulating upwards, and now it's like fuel for your entire body. And now life becomes orgasmic. You have more creative energy. You have more willpower. You have more pleasure. Life becomes more orgasmic when your sexual energy is coursing through your body 24/7. And this isn't all about sex. It's about being a sovereign human being with the ability to create. Kind of coming back to that space of inner child, where life is, it's like a dream. It's a playground. It's like, what do I want to do? What do I want to play today? This is the space that I feel I've gotten back into from sexual energy cultivation. So these are the 3 principles, and it's not that you do one, then the other, then the other. We're doing them simultaneously. We worked on all of these this morning. Clearing practices, most Qigong exercises are going to have this effect because as you're moving your Qi through your body, it's going to start wearing away these blockages. It's like water wearing through rock. With persistence, it erodes more and more. Building the Qi, we're connecting with the Earth Qi. Engaging the Dantian, we're building up the Qi. And then circulate it. The Qigong practice brings the energy through your body. A lot of the like Neigong techniques, the dragon breathing, the orgasmic breathing, are circulating this sexual energy and vitality we've built up through the whole body. So this process is continuous throughout your practice, but you just want to be clear about the intention, which is why, for example, the healing sounds is so important, is because it helps to keep this open so that all this excessive emotional heat doesn't overwhelm your system, doesn't become amplified during your sexual cultivation.